You pick up your phone to check one notification. Maybe a message, maybe an email, maybe nothing in particular. And then 45 minutes disappear. You did not decide to scroll for 45 minutes. You did not plan to. You barely even noticed it happening. And when you finally put the phone down, you feel slightly worse than before you picked it up, but you know you will do the exact same thing again tomorrow. This is not a willpower problem. This is not laziness. What is happening to you is the result of some of the most sophisticated psychological engineering ever created, designed by teams of people whose entire job is to make sure you do not stop. Today I am going to show you exactly how it works. And once you see the mechanics behind it, you will never look at your phone the same way again. Let us start with the most important comparison you need to understand. The slot machine in your pocket. In 2017, a former Google design ethicist named Tristan Harris made a claim that changed the way people think about technology. He said that smartphones are basically slot machines that we carry around in our pockets. And he was not being dramatic. He was being precise. A slot machine works by delivering unpredictable rewards at random intervals. You pull the lever and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and you never know which one is coming. That unpredictability is what makes it addictive. If you won every time, it would get boring. If you never won, you would walk away. But because the reward is random, your brain gets locked into a cycle of anticipation. Now think about what happens when you open a social media app. Sometimes there is a message from someone you care about. Sometimes there is a post that makes you laugh. Sometimes there is nothing interesting at all. The reward is variable. And just like a slot machine, that variability is exactly what keeps you pulling the lever. This is not a metaphor. The underlying mechanism is the same. And the people who designed these apps know it. Variable ratio reinforcement. The formal term for this is variable ratio reinforcement, and it was first described by the psychologist B.F. Skinner in the 1950s. Skinner found that when he gave rats a food pellet every single time they pressed a lever, they pressed it at a steady but moderate rate. But when the pellet came randomly, sometimes after one press, sometimes after 20, the rats pressed the lever compulsively. They could not stop. The random schedule of reward produced the highest rate of behavior and the strongest resistance to quitting. Skinner called this the most powerful reinforcement schedule in existence. And 70 years later, it is the engine that drives every social media feed on the planet. Every time you pull down to refresh, you are pressing that lever. Every time you check your notifications, you are pressing that lever. And because the reward is never guaranteed, your brain stays in a permanent state of anticipation, always hoping the next pull will deliver something good. The dopamine prediction machine. Now here is where most people get the science slightly wrong. You will often hear that social media gives you a hit of dopamine. That is partially true, but it misses the more important point. Dopamine is not primarily a pleasure chemical. It is a prediction chemical. Your brain releases dopamine not when you get a reward, but when you anticipate that a reward might be coming. The anticipation is what drives the behavior, not the reward itself. Neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz demonstrated this in a series of landmark experiments. He showed that dopamine neurons fire most strongly when a reward is uncertain. When you know for certain that something good is coming, dopamine activity is moderate. When you know nothing good is coming, dopamine is low. But when there is a chance, maybe yes, maybe no, dopamine surges. This is exactly what social media creates. Every time you open the app, your brain registers the possibility of a reward. A like, a comment, a message, a funny video. The uncertainty triggers a dopamine spike that makes you want to keep looking. And because the feed never ends, the anticipation never resolves. You are chasing a feeling that is designed to never fully arrive. This is also why you often feel vaguely unsatisfied after a long scrolling session. The dopamine was about the anticipation. The thing you were actually looking for was never really there. Infinite scroll and the removal of stopping cues. In the physical world, there are natural stopping points built into almost everything. A book has chapters. A television show has an ending. A meal has a plate that empties. These stopping cues tell your brain this is a reasonable moment to pause. Social media has systematically removed every single one of them. The infinite scroll, first introduced by Asa Raskin in 2006, eliminated the need to click next page. Content just keeps loading. There is no bottom. There is no natural pause. And Raskin himself later said publicly that he regretted inventing it when he calculated the amount of human life it was consuming. Autoplay does the same thing for video. The moment one video ends, the next one starts. You never have to make a conscious decision to keep watching. The default is to continue. Stopping requires active effort. Continuing requires nothing. This is a design choice, not a technical necessity. These platforms could easily add a "you have been scrolling for 30 minutes" prompt or a natural breakpoint between content blocks. They choose not to because every additional second you spend on the platform is worth money to them. Social validation feedback loops. There is one more layer to this, and it might be the most powerful of all. Human beings evolved to be deeply sensitive to social approval. For most of human history, being accepted by your group was literally a survival requirement. Rejection meant danger. Approval meant safety. That wiring is still active in your brain, and social media exploits it directly. When you post something online, you enter a feedback loop. You post, then you wait. You check for likes. You check for comments. Each notification is a tiny signal that says people approve of you, and your brain responds with a small burst of reward. But the absence of notifications also carries a signal. Silence feels like rejection, even when it is completely meaningless. Sean Parker, the founding president of Facebook, said this openly in 2017. He explained that the platform was designed from the beginning to exploit a vulnerability in human psychology. The goal, in his words, was to consume as much of your time and conscious attention as possible. The like button, the comment counter, the follower number. These are not features. They are metrics of social validation delivered in real time, and they trigger the same neural pathways that would fire if you received approval from your tribe 10,000 years ago. Your rational brain knows that a like from a stranger means very little. Your emotional brain cannot tell the difference. Why just 5 more minutes never works. By now you can probably see why simply deciding to scroll less does not work. You are not fighting a bad habit. You are fighting a variable reinforcement schedule, a dopamine prediction loop, the removal of all natural stopping cues, and the deep human need for social validation, all operating simultaneously, all optimized by algorithms that learn exactly what keeps you engaged and serve you more of it. Willpower was never designed to fight this. Willpower evolved to stop you eating an extra piece of fruit. It did not evolve to resist a system specifically engineered to be as compelling as possible by some of the most well-funded companies on the planet. This is why the "just put your phone down" advice fails. It is like telling someone to just stop breathing. The urges are not a character flaw. They are a designed outcome. So how do you actually break the loop? If willpower alone is not enough, you need to change the environment instead. Here are 4 approaches that actually work, based on the psychology we have just covered. First, remove the triggers. Turn off all non-essential notifications. Every notification is a lever pull that restarts the dopamine anticipation cycle. If the phone does not buzz, the loop does not begin. Second, add friction. Move social media apps off your home screen. Put them inside a folder. Log out after each session so you have to type your password to get back in. Every extra step you add gives your rational brain a moment to intervene before the habit takes over. Third, create artificial stopping cues. Since the platforms have removed them, you need to build your own. Set a timer before you open the app. Use screen time limits. Some people even set their phone to grayscale mode, which removes the color reward signals that make interfaces so visually engaging. Fourth, replace the reward. The reason scrolling is so compelling is that it meets real needs, just badly. The need for novelty. The need for connection. The need to feel informed. Find better ways to meet those needs. A 10-minute walk gives your brain more genuine novelty than an hour of scrolling. A real conversation meets the need for connection more deeply than 100 likes ever will. I want to leave you with one uncomfortable question. If you knew that every app on your phone had been specifically designed to keep you using it for as long as possible, and that the techniques being used on you were derived from the same psychology behind slot machines and laboratory experiments on compulsive behavior, would you still use it the same way? You might. And that is fine. But at least now you know what is happening while you do. If this helped you understand something you have been feeling but could not quite explain, hit subscribe. There is a lot more to uncover about how your mind works and how the world around you is designed to exploit it. I will see you in the next one.